And welcome back from that short time out. You are still watching Business Daily, which is coming to you live on Trust TV. And like I stated before the break, the stock market, that is the Nigeria Exchange, kicked off the month of September as the all share index, declined by about 0.15%. So basically, we did see the market start off the month in the reds, that is in the negative. But I'm joined now by a professional who is an investment analyst with CSL Stockbrokers in the person of Donatus Umana. Thank you, Mr. Umana, for joining us at Business Daily.
Thank you. Good morning for having me this morning.
Good morning to you too. I would like for us to begin, with the general market performance. Like I stated, we did see the all share index lose by about 15% in the past 1 week. A huge contrast to how we had seen the market perform in the week before, with about a 56 equity gain the previous week. I'd like for you to speak regarding, the factors that contributed to this shift in 1 week.
All right. Okay. Thank you for having me. Like I said this morning, the markets it's majorly driven by fundamental analysis and technical analysis, and at the same time, we should not take away the sentimental part. Like I said, we are emotional beings, and sentiment has to play. So we look at the market starting from on Monday, which is the 3rd of September, the second brother. Um, Started with a bullish run, just positive, 22 basis points up. And now the unique thing about the market is that same stock running around. You see Owando, gain up to 9.95% on the Monday. Stocks like Zenith Bank, of course, the banking stock rallying around. And we see stocks like Transcorp, Owando, Livestock, FBN for Monday. Bringing the market cap to 55.61 trillion. And then on Tuesday, it continued on this bullish trend, printing 8 basis points up, and closing the year to date at that Tuesday at 29.56%. We see Access Corp, we see majorly the banking stock, CI Leasing, RT Briscoe, all this, the tier one banking stock running around. And then on Wednesday, we witnessed a bearish note. 35 basis points on Wednesday. This was due to losses in Owando, GTCO, and also in Dacom. And then we look at on Thursday, it also printed a bearish sentiment, 34 basis points, to print at 96,210.20 points, 20 points, for the Ocean Index, bringing the year to date to a 28.67. And now on Friday, to close the market, breaking the tie, there was a bullish run. Yes, to close market closed positive on Friday. But in spite of this, we saw that week to date printed a negative of 0.15%. What could have been the cause of this? Like I said earlier on, we see stocks like the Access, the Zenith, the GTCO, the Tier 1 banking stock, and then the oil and gas sector, sentimentally driven Owando due to corporate action. We saw them acquire Egypt Oil in the corporate action. That's a corporate disclosure for Owando. So these are more drove the sentiment we saw in the market. Then at the closure of the day for the week, yes, we saw that the year to date printed what's it called? Year to date printed 29 percent, yeah, 29% or so, but still bringing the year to date and the week to date to negative for the first week of September. Now, sectorially, performance sectorially, we saw that oil and gas was the only index that printed a positive, that was 1.52%. The other indexes printed negative. As we know, the banking index, consumer goods, insurance index, all printed in the negative. Going forward, I would say looking at what the market has done in the first week of September, we can say that going forward, we can't really tell because, like I said, Owando is it's at its peak. It can do better. Rumors have it that the price is rumored to be pushed to 100, 100 naira per share. So let's see how that will go. Just like I said, the oil and gas sector is doing well. Eternal oil, as you can see, they see Owando doing well. So I would say generally what drove the market was sentiment and then corporate actions, as you can see. So I would say going forward, a lot of corporate action would drive the market either in a negative or in a positive direction. Thank you.
Well explained, sentiment and corporate action driving the market. But you already did touch on the sectoral performance. And like you rightly stated, we saw the oil and gas sector, outperforming other sectors with about 1.52% gain. I would like for us to touch on that briefly. From your own point of view, what would you say is driving the investor confidence in the oil and gas sector? Because we, like I stated, did see some momentum being gained within the oil and gas sector in the past week.
The oil and gas sector, we all know what's happening. Dangote refinery resumed operation September. We saw for the first time after 28 years, Nigeria would start refining their own oil. Now, so most of these oil and stocks and oil companies are trying to key into that. First and foremost, we see Seplat. Seplat has been on the run for a while, and so none of the oil and gas sector wants to be left. So Owando is rallying around. You see Eternal Oil following. You see Seplat. So I would say majorly due to the news in the domain of the Dangote refinery commencing operation, and also not forgetting the fact that Nigeria's one of the measures Nigeria's what's it called external reserve has to do with crude. So most of the money, most of the costs incurred due to transporting crude after refining back to the country as PMS, as you know, would be cut down. So most of these oil and gas stocks are taking position, looking at the outlook and the nearest future. So I would say that's what is driving it majorly. So the oil and gas sector is actually a good sector for now, and we see more tractions coming in from that particular sector.
In your words, you said the oil and gas sector is actually a good sector for now. Now, you saying you don't expect for investors' confidence to continue in the long term?
Looking at it in a long term, I would say the market is not a place where you can pitch a tent at a particular place. But like I said, there are fundamentals driving this particular traction. Like I said, Wando, I know, just acquired Ajib Oil, and then there's the Dangote refinery commencing operation. And so these are fundamentals guiding, the rallying around we see in this stock. So looking at it on the long run, we can say, is this sustainable? Time will only tell if this is sustainable, because even Dangote refinery has not, I would say, has not yet commenced. There's a little discrepancies, between NNPC and Dangote refinery taking decisive measures on how to run the distribution of this PMS. So a lot of sentiments is driven in the market. So I would say for now, as I use the word for now, going forward, let's see how it plays out.
Okay, you have already touched on, the corporate announcements that the market witnessed last week. And like you rightly mentioned, International Breweries AGM resolutions was part of the announcement, Owando's response to, the media content from last week as well. But for the benefit of our viewers who don't necessarily have, a full understanding of how, stock announcements like this would typically affect the stock market, can you give an explanation regarding, how corporate announcements have a way of, impacting on the stock market?
All right, thank you very much. Now, we see last week two major corporate actions. We see Stanbic IBTC declared dividend, interim dividend of 2 naira. Now, this information would make investors to be, what I say, excited, knowing that your stock is paying dividend of 2 naira. I mean, in recent time, I would say 2 naira is actually a big one. So, due to the fact that dividend is being paid, so it causes running around, around that particular stock. So investors want to gain. There are two major ways investors gain in the market: through dividend payment and capital appreciation. So in this particular stance, it is dividend payment. So Stanbic has declared dividend payment for its existing shareholders, and then the qualification date for Stanbic is on the 18th of September. Then the closure of the register will be on the 25th of September. So the payment date for Stanbic will be on the 30th of September. So if you don't have Stanbic stock, you can key into it now if you believe and you want to be part of those who benefit from its dividend payout. And also for International Brewery, they are doing a right issue, in the sense that a right issue is for existing shareholders. So only existing shareholders are beneficiaries of right issue. So in that sense, they are giving you a particular amount of stock for a particular one. I think now they're giving them, is it for every 5-year-old, you'll be given 11. So these two major corporate release would drive those particular stocks. So investors generally, I mean, we are all capitalists on the long run. So they want to take position where they would actually, witness a gain in their particular position. So I think I've been able to shed more light about that for International Brewery and Stanbic IBTC. More reports are to come out, and like I said, this is the H1. Most companies are releasing their H1 results, and then we are expecting interim dividends from most companies. So it's a period of, I would say, interim dividend payments. So that's what is really happening in the market right now. Thank you.
Okay. Well said, Mr. Umana. But before we go to, I would like for us to touch on, stocks with over 1 trillion market capitalization. But before we go there, I will also want for us to touch on, the performance of the NGX insurance sector, which we did see fall by about 4.45%. Recording the highest sectoral decline, the insurance sector specifically. What underlying issues contributed to that fall within the insurance sector? And how can investors, navigate these challenges that have been witnessed recently within the insurance sector?
All right. So for the insurance sector, I would say, to me, I have not seen any major drivers of that particular sector. As you know, the insurance sector is a service sector, and you want to say it's indirectly or directly affected by the banking sector. So for now, as you can see, the banking sectors are doing recapitalization from the CBN, raising money and raising funds in the market. So this has a way of making investors to disassociate to some particular to a large extent, and take positions in the banking stock. So for now, I would say it's just investor sentiment skewed towards the banking sector to purchase the public offer and take position for future capital appreciation for the insurance sector. I think that's what's happening in the insurance sector for now. In the insurance sector. Thank you.
Okay, well said. Regarding the fact that you didn't see any major, actions really happen within the insurance sector. But let's move now to the SWOT performance, that is stocks with over 1 trillion market cap. We noticed that the NGX premium fell by 0.37%, and this was, driven by the declines in major stocks like Zenith Bank, which you have already touched on briefly. But I would like for us to speak regarding the outlook for, SWOT stocks in the short term moving forward. What are your expectations for these premium stocks?
All right. Now, we all know Access Corp is one of the premium stock. In recent time, It has been on a decline. You see a stock that was at the point 28 naira and is trading currently in the market around 19 naira, 19 naira, 50 kobo, and thereabout. So it's I mean it's one of the most capitalized stocks. So we can say going forward, that alone has a pull on the market. That alone has a stretch on the market. So if one of these particular stock is repeatedly doing a negative printout, I mean, it will have an impact on the premium stock. So I would say, and we also have in this, we have Seplat, we have the likes of MTN, and for recent times, MTN has been on, I'll call it stagnant kind of movement. We have Dank Cement, for the longest of time. Dank Cement has been on the offer, just there. So it has a way of impacting the market. FBN, First Bank of Nigeria, yes, FBNH, also releasing interim dividend. That also has a way of pushing it up, and Seplat as well. We have Zenith Bank. So I would say in the long run, some of the premium stocks are cutting the losses of the others. So we see a kind of balance and equilibrium position in this premium stock. So on the long run, I would say we might still have that particular scenario in the market, given to the fact that most of them are not trading at their intrinsic value. So they are trading below it. So on the long run, we expect them to get to full potentials, and we see better performance from them. We expect better performance from those stocks.
Well said. But so far, have you seen any global market trends impact the Nigeria's stock market? I remember last week we did see decisions come from the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, moving the meeting to the month of October, and also other developments around the commodities market and oil markets generally. But do you see this impacting the Nigeria's equities market?
Of course, like I said, it's as a way of impacting the market, and whatever happens in the global stage affects the Nigerian market. Like I said, oil is a major external is a major income source of income, for Nigeria. And now look at Nigeria having one of the biggest refinery. I mean, it will affect the global scene in the long run. No more buying of purchasing of refined crude from Europe. That will cut down. I mean, it's almost cutting down up to 40%. Imagine cutting down on 40% of your cost. So this will impact the global market, at large. But knowing that OPEC is also is a body that is not influenced, they stick to the forces of the market demand and supply to fix their price for crude. So we would say on the long run, either the price would adjust itself, and we'll see that on the long run that the adjusted price will have an impact on the global scene as well as Nigeria. So of course, in that, also knowing that Nigeria is also a unique market where most of this economic indicator does not really play out as it's supposed to be, So because we've seen in recent times, Nigeria has negated some of these indicators. Recently, as you can see in the inflation, there was a cut down from 34.14% to 3. We're expecting that of August. We don't. Nigeria is, like I said, is the perfectly inelastic market, so we can't really tell at this time. But I know it will affect the global scene in the long run. Thank you.
We would like for you to share with us, some risk management tips, especially for retail investors who are looking for ways to navigate these uncertain times. What risk management tips would you share with this group of people?
All right. Okay. For risk management for retail investors. Now, I will take a quote from Warren Buffett that says, buy stocks when the market is going down. As sentimental beings, we always want to sell our stocks when it's going down, when the prices are falling. But that is when you're supposed to buy. So at the long run, you'll be able to average your costing. So for retail investors, I would say look at the indexes, that's the indices, that's the sectors that are performing in the negative, and key in there, take positions. So, for example, you see only the oil and gas is performing. Definitely, I would say it's oversaturated. If you're coming into one donut, it's one error. I mean, the chances of you making a loss is very, very high. So why not go to stocks so at at their lowest? Access Corp is at all-time lowest, 19 naira. I mean, I don't think you would sit at that price in the nearest future. There are other other stocks. So look for stocks that are not performing as in their full potential. And also never forget fundamental analysis. It beats all other analysis at the long run. What is driving this particular stock? We know Omando is being driven by the news, corporate action. We also know that tier one banks are doing recapitalization. So definitely after this process, we expect an uprise in that sector. So all this key in. So you have to be informed on the long run to take positions on stock. So I would say we should just look at the market and make sure we are keen into fundamentally sound stocks. Thank you.
Well said. Well, it is a new week, and like you mentioned before, we shouldn't give it too emotional or too sentimental with the happenings in the market. But we saw the market close the last week in the bullish sentiment. Do you foresee the market continuing in that trend this new week?
All right. For today, okay, like I'm saying, we're looking at my screen. The market, is opened and currently is trading in the negative. So we can't really tell what's the outcome of the market. But looking at what is closed, on Friday, it can be sustained. The bullish run can be sustained, but not forgetting the fact that it's the markets. Before the close of the markets, anything can transpire. But for now, we can say the bullish run can be sustained. Thank you.
I would like for you to also touch on your outlook for the market. We are approaching the last quarter of the year, and what a year the markets have had so far. We have seen the CBN's bank recapitalization policy affect, the markets generally speaking, and other development across the oil and gas sector as well. But looking from the lens of an investment analyst now, what is your outlook for the NGX in the last quarter of the year?
All right, thank you. Now, if you would cast your mind back to the beginning of this year, we saw Nigeria becoming the top, traded index in the world, followed by Argentina early this year, and there was a lot of rallying around, in stocks. Investors were key. They came into the markets, being so, triggered and all. With expectations, and then in the middle of the year, I would say the second quarter, we saw the bearish run came in. Why? Due to the fixed income part took over the market, where government were raising a lot of capital. We saw interest rates and yield kick up to as high as 21%, 22%, and now we are seeing a decline in the fixed income market. Where stop rates are declining gradually. This we said in the beginning, if you've been following the market, that at a point, the yield and the rate will moderate at a point. So it is converging. The fixed income market rates are converging. You see treasury bills doing as low as 21.05%, which rumors it might still come down, So whenever that happens, we see that the equity markets, takes the stand and perform wonderfully. And for now, we see re-entering the last quarter of the NGX market, and we are, I would say, based on all we can see on ground, expecting a positive printout at the end of the year. Because, like I said, we started the year in a positive and a bullish run, and then in the middle of the year we had a bearish sentiment, and then for this last quarter, based on the outlook and based on results coming out, and also not forgetting the fundraising going on in the market now. After that, particular time, stocks are expected to appreciate. So I would say, for me, the markets would be closing on a positive outlook at the end of the year. Not also forgetting the fact that other informations can always be released, and the market can go from where it was, to wherever it's going for now. But like I said, looking at it from analysis and from trend, we are expecting a positive outlook for the last quarter of the year. Thank you.
So you're saying we should keep our fingers crossed that the NGX just might, maintain its position as the best performing stock market?
Not the best performing stock market, but it would print out positive. Yes, it should print out positive by the end of the year. Should print out positive.
Well said. Music to the ears of investors regarding the outlook for, the NGX in the last quarter of the year. But thank you very much, Donato Zumana, who is an investment analyst with CSL Stockbrokers. Thank you for dissecting this data and bringing clarity to, the performance of the NGX in the past week, and of course the outlook for the year 2024. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
It is a new week, and like I stated before, the market have resumed trading, and there has been mixed sentiment in the market since the start of the month. Bullish, bearish, but mostly the bearish trend has been witnessed in the market. And there you have it, the notable gainers since the month of September from UACN to CI Leasing PLC, University Press, Caverton Offshore Support Group, as well as Guinea Insurance PLC and Maya PLC, as well as SFS Real Estate Investment Trust. Those are the gainers so far. And one thing they have in common is the fact that they are largely from the oil and gas sector. And here we have the notable losers since the month of September, from the Initiate PLC to the Cornerstone Insurance PLC, Secure Electronic Technology PLC, Abbey Mortgage Bank PLC, Livestock Feed PLC, PZ Cousins Nigeria PLC, as well as Champion Breweries PLC. But one thing most Nigerian investors are looking forward to is, how the market will perform, especially around the premium stocks, that is the SWOT stocks, that is the stocks that have over $1 trillion market capitalization. But like my guest stated, it is, hopefully we expect to see, the bullish sentiment in the coming month for the market. But this is where we will be saying our goodbyes today on Business Daily. But keep the conversation going on social media, and let us hear from you, regarding how how you have been impacted, due to the recent market volatility, and how this has affected your sentiment and outlook regarding the performance of the market. My name is Chiamaka Nendu. Thank you for watching, and bye for now.